Do you believe your opponent underestimates you?
I think my opponent is underestimating me because he said that I'm a slow one. He think that I'm too small.
At a high skill level that will compete in the sweet science. I mean, Shakur showed aggression in his last fight against Cepeda, being elusive while being aggressive, walking them down, fighting on the inside, boxing well, still being able to counter, still being able to control space, but also be able to go into tight quarters and not be afraid to show that he's good on the inside too, that he can make you miss and make you pay outside and inside. Shakur showed that.
I love it. I love it. I honestly love it. I think that's like part of the journey is like you learn with struggle, you learn with obstacles, and you also learn within yourself what you can and cannot do. Mm-hmm. And then you hit a point in your life where you start realizing that there's not much that you cannot achieve. Mm-hmm. So you push limits far beyond your own measures. And I love it. I love it. I love this right here. I love this fight. I love this part where it's going to test my limits. It's a challenge to show people, and I'm here to exploit his defense of Shakur Stevenson.
Teofimo Lopez isn't talking about outboxing Shakur Stevenson. He's talking about taking him apart piece by piece until the whole game plan collapses. If this fight really happens, it won't be about hype. It'll be about who can impose their style first and make the other man look ordinary. Right after that bold warning, Teofimo doubled down with an even louder promise. He stated, "We will beat them, and when it's all said and done, my hand will be raised once again, and they will say, the takeover." That's not just confidence. That's a man painting the ending before the first bell even rings. He's basically telling everyone to get ready for a takeover moment, like the whole night is built for his comeback story. But Shakur isn't the kind of fighter you just will your way through, and Teo knows that deep down. So when you hear talk like this, it usually means one thing. He's coming with pressure, traps, and a mindset to make it ugly if he has to. The scary part is, if Teo gets Shakur thinking instead of flowing, even for a few rounds, the entire fight can tilt. And once momentum shifts in a big fight like this, it doesn't feel like a slow change. It feels like a sudden storm. While fans argue about speed versus power, Keyshawn Davis breaks it down like a fighter who's actually been in those moments. He doesn't expect fireworks right away. He expects a chess match that slowly turns into a real fight.
I see it playing out, let's say, I see it starting off slow.
Okay.
And then I see as Shakur wins the first round, as Shakur wins the second round, slowly, I think Teo is eventually going to start picking it up and start imposing his will.
Right.
And then, it's just going to go from there. That's how I think it's gonna go.
What makes this scary is how realistic that script feels for a matchup like this. Early on, it's all about timing, feints, and who can take control without taking risks. But once the rhythm is set, the whole energy can flip in one exchange. One clean shot, one missed step, one sudden surge. That's where pressure starts to matter, because it forces decisions instead of comfort. If the pace rises at the wrong time, even the slickest fighter can get stuck reacting. And when a fight moves from boxing to surviving moments, that's when the crowd holds its breath. The real question is, who's built to take over when the tempo stops being polite? Then Keyshawn switches from prediction mode to straight honesty. And this part hits different, because when someone who's shared the amateur scene with you talks like this, it's not hype, it's experience.
Thing I can say though, because I've been seeing, we've been amateur together and stuff.
Right. Yeah.
Tio can fight.
I tell him that. Tio can fight.
Winning back
If
then.
you said he couldn't, you'd be lying.
Right.
That's a real assessment, though. I think Shakur still wins, but it's gonna be closer than what people think. Teo is nice.
a lot, man, no doubt.
This is the kind of respect that changes how you view the whole fight. It's not about tweets, press conferences, or loud confidence. It's about what a man can do when it's real. And that's what makes Teo dangerous. Even on nights when things start to get messy, some fighters need everything perfect to look good, but others can adjust mid-fight and still find a way. That's why Shakur can't afford to treat this like a calm points win from start to finish. One mistake, one moment of getting too comfortable, and suddenly the fight has a different owner. When the opponent has proven he can rise in big moments, the tension feels heavier, and that's exactly why this matchup has people watching closely. Kenny Porter doesn't rush a pick here, and that's what makes his take feel serious. He talks like a coach who wants to study the patterns first, not chase the loudest narrative.
I haven't decided who, I want to go back and look at their last couple of fights, last 2 or 3 fights, and make a decision based on that. Extremely talented kid in Shakur Stevenson, and extremely tough fighter in Teo. Never got a chance to work with Stevenson, have been in the gym with Teo, have had him sparring our place in our training center before, and I got a chance to see him up close and personal. And this was early in his career, before he even turned pro. This was when he was an Olympian.
Gotcha.
And so he has some intangibles that might pull him ahead of Shakur in this one.
You can hear the respect in how carefully he sets the table for both guys. He's basically saying this matchup isn't a simple style versus style debate. It's about details you only catch when you rewatch fights with a sharp eye. The interesting part is when someone hints at unseen edges, because that's where the suspense lives. Fans see highlights, but trainers notice the little moments: balance, reaction time, nerves under pressure. And when a veteran says one fighter has something you can't teach, you have to take it seriously. That's the kind of thing that shows up late, when the rounds get tight and the air gets heavy. This is where the fight starts feeling like it could swing on one small moment. Then Kenny shifts the spotlight to Shakur's movement and how that style can mess with an opponent's patience. And if this turns into a battle of emotions as much as skills, that's where things can get dangerous fast.
But I'm not counting Shakur out, because Shakur is ultra talented. He's just not a talented guy, he's ultra talented. And he's got some great hand speed, and his feet work very well.
Absolutely.
So he's kind of hard. He's an elusive guy to catch up to. And if that's what his game plan is, if he's successful with that, Teo is the guy that may not like the way that Shakur fights when they get in the ring. He may not, he may stop and stump his feet and say, "Come on, man, let's fight."
Yeah, let's fight.
Shakur may say, "Nah, we're not fighting."
This is the exact kind of matchup that can make the ring feel bigger than it actually is. One guy wants clean angles and control, the other wants you close enough to feel the fight. When that clash happens, the tension isn't always in punches. It's in the pauses, the resets, the moments where one fighter refuses to give the other what he wants. And that's when frustration can become a weapon, because it forces mistakes. If the crowd starts booing, if the pace gets weird, if the timing breaks, that's where tempers start to show. The scary part is how one emotional decision can undo 3 rounds of perfect work, and once the fight turns into a mindset test, it stops being predictable. Finally, Kenny throws away the comfortable odds and makes it clear this isn't a one-sided story. He frames it as a real pick'em fight. Skill on one side, bite on the other, and both can win it.
You said 60-40?
Yeah.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely. No, Teo's definitely in this fight. He's in it to win it. I think. We're talking pure boxing.
Yeah.
Shakur, but we talk a dog. Teo.
Yeah.
And Teo's just as fast. There's speed and there's elite speed. Teo's got speed. Shakur's got elite speed. But that's not too far off, especially when you're not a come forward fighter. Shakur's not a come forward, step to you with my speed and hurt you with my speed type fighter.
Yeah.
So, that speed gets neutralized when you're moving in the other direction.
Absolutely.
It gets neutralized when you're moving in the other direction. No, it's not 60-40.
That's what makes this matchup feel like it's built for drama. When you can't lean on numbers, you start leaning on moments. Who wins the first swing round? Who adjusts first? Who steals the momentum? One fighter can look better on paper and still get dragged into a kind of fight he didn't plan for. And the other guy can look wild early, then suddenly lock in and flip the whole night. This is why the early rounds matter so much, because they decide the tone, calm and controlled, or tense and chaotic. Once the tone is set, every exchange feels heavier, like the fight is inching toward a turning point. And if it really is 50-50, then one clean sequence could decide everything. Meanwhile, Teofimo kept the message sharp. He's not here to admire Shakur, he's here to pick him apart. And when a fighter brings up years of shared history, it usually means he thinks he's seen the blueprint before the world did.
I'm here to show that there's a lot of flaws in his style. We don't grown up in the amateurs together since the early 2010s. So we got a lot of history when it comes to like seeing each other rise to the cream of the crop. But I think that now it comes to where we just meeting now. So we never faced each other. Wish him nothing but the best after he loses to me. And yeah, I can't wait to just keep on going from there.
This is where the matchup starts feeling personal without turning messy. He's basically saying he's watched the evolution up close, and he believes the shine comes with openings. That's dangerous talk, because Shakur's whole identity is built around being hard to read and even harder to touch. If Teo truly thinks he's found patterns, then the first few rounds won't just be feeling out, they'll be a live test of who's right. And if those flaws show up even once, the confidence in Teo's corner will grow fast. But if Shakur shuts the door early, it can make a loud talker go quiet in a hurry. Either way, it sets the fight up like a suspense movie. Calm start, then one moment changes everything. Then Teo flips it into motivation mode, talking like a man who wants the hard path on purpose. He makes it sound like big fights aren't a risk.
Absolutely. This is why we do what we do. You can't go to do what you do and look for easy routes. Eventually, you're gonna have to meet up with people. So, that's why me and my father, like right off the jump, 22, won my first world title at MSG. Boom. The following year, Lomachenko, undisputed. They revoked that, whatever the case be. And then just kept on going from there on. You know what I mean? And it's better knowing now than later. Because then you just lying to yourself.
This is the mindset that turns a dangerous fight into a statement night. When a fighter embraces the toughest names, it signals he's not trying to protect anything. He's trying to prove something. The tension rises because Shakur isn't a show-up-and-win opponent. He forces you to earn every second. So if Teo is walking into this with pride and momentum in his chest, the question becomes whether that energy stays smart or turns reckless. Because confidence is powerful, but impatience can be fatal in a chess match. The crowd loves bravado, but the ring only respects timing. And against a slick southpaw, timing is everything. After that, Teo makes it clear what kind of night he wants. Not a chase, not a track meet, a real fight. And the moment he frames it like that, you can almost feel the pressure rising.
Yeah. I mean, hey, I put on boxing shoes, not track shoes. So yeah, I'm excited for it all, man. I like to go to the fire.
This is the part that gets fans leaning closer to the screen, because when someone promises action against a mover, it creates instant suspense. Can he actually force it? If he succeeds, the fight becomes chaos in the best way. Exchanges, counters, and sudden swings. But if he can't cut the ring, the frustration builds, and that's where mistakes creep in. Shakur's whole game is making you miss by inches and punishing you for reaching. So the real drama is whether Teo's aggression stays controlled enough to land clean or wild enough to get clipped. One wrong step and the whole tone changes, and once the tone changes, it's hard to get it back. Now it gets interesting, because Teo leans into the southpaw angle like it doesn't scare him at all. He talks like he's been preparing for that rhythm his whole life, not just for one camp.
Now one thing, we never lost to a southpaw out of 200 fights, so.
You said they never lost to a southpaw out of 200 fights.
Yeah.
Or more.
How
many fights it was,
a lot of people not to look over it, but a lot of people look at southpaws they're very difficult, but I grew up with southpaws since a kid. Kind of understand the rhythms of it. Don't get me wrong, he could be slick, but there's something I do to southpaws that It's working in my favor.
This is a bold claim because the southpaw puzzle isn't just stance, it's distance, timing, and the trapdoors that come with it. Shakur lives in that space where you think you're close, but you're not. If Teo truly understands the rhythm, we'll see it in how he steps, how he feints, and when he chooses to commit. The scary part is that one clean adjustment against a southpaw can unlock an entire fight, but the risk is just as real. Overconfidence gets punished fast when the other guy is sharper. So this isn't just talk, it's a promise we'll be able to measure within minutes. And if the early exchanges prove him right, the whole arena mood flips. Then Teo slows it down and puts the focus on his team, like he's entering a new chapter mentally. Instead of forcing moments, he's hinting that everything is being lined up for a proper run.
I'm trusting my team. I'm gonna trust my team on this one. I'm not gonna do no more than that. You know, that's why you got a team. That's why everybody gets what they get from it. So trust your team, trust the process, and trust the fact that they got big plans for me the first quarter of the year and then moving forward after that. So I'm excited no matter what. I'm excited that I'm back on the field. I'm back fighting, getting ready. It's been a long time overdue. And yeah, just ready to like show people like the takeover, for real, for real.
This kind of talk usually means one thing. He wants to look disciplined, not just dangerous. It sets up a different suspense because the calmer version of Teo can be the most explosive, the one who waits, then strikes at the right time. If the plan is bigger than one night, then this fight becomes a checkpoint, not just a headline. And that's where pressure hits hardest because you can't afford to slip in a fight this technical. The fans want a takeover moment, but to earn it, he'll need patience, smart pressure, and clean execution. If he gets those three right, the fight can swing fast. If not, Shakur will make it feel like you're fighting shadows. Finally, Teo sounds like he's learning from the noise and trying to move differently now. He's talking less recklessly, more calculated, like he knows the next steps depend on how he carries himself.
Nah, nowhere near close.
Okay.
But I just like the fact that I'm just keeping myself more calm and composed. Don't get me wrong, definitely, for sure.
Yeah.
But I ain't trying to do no more of that. I get myself in trouble for no reason. Like I'm being my authentic self,
do
and it
get
gets
yourself in
people in
trouble.
trouble.
Right.
It's like gets me in trouble. I'm like, so y'all just don't like it. So it's like I'm trying to get deals and stuff like that in the near future, so I'd rather just keep it like this.
This adds a new layer to the buildup because it's not only about skill, it's about control. Big fights don't just test your hands, they test your head. And a composed Teo is a scary Teo because he can stay in the plan even when things get uncomfortable. The suspense is whether he can keep that calm when Shakur starts making him miss, because that's the moment where emotions usually jump in and the fight gets messy. If Teo stays patient, he gives himself a real chance to crack the timing. And if he loses patience, Shakur will take rounds without taking damage. Either way, you can feel the tension building toward a moment where one man breaks first. Now Ikoyi steps in with a warning that instantly raises the tension. Teo can look like a problem early, but the real debate is what happens when Shakur starts giving angles. And then he zeroes in on the one question that can flip this whole fight in a second.
I look at Teofimo a lot like Yard when I say as far as like he's a front runner. I mean, the first couple rounds, Teofimo is hella dangerous. You know what I'm saying? He's explosive, but he struggles against boxers who can, you know, carry him the distance and give him angles and give him trouble, right? Which Shakur can do. But when I watched this, I think it was just a big fight. Shakur got hit clean. He been getting hit clean, but he just ate the joint. But he got hit clean. I'm looking at him like if I'm Teofimo, the reason I took that fight is because I say if I can get in the same positions or I can get to those spots where I can hit Shakur clean, can Teofimo hurt Shakur with one shot?
This is where the matchup turns from skills talk into real danger talk, because landing clean isn't the hard part. Landing clean with enough impact to change someone's behavior is. If Teo can touch Shakur and make him hesitate, the entire fight becomes different. Fewer risks, more caution, more reactions. But if Shakur can eat the shots and keep his rhythm, Teo may find himself chasing a ghost for long stretches. That's why those early rounds feel like a countdown, not just a warm-up. One big moment early can plant doubt that lasts all night, and if doubt shows up in a high-level fight, it spreads fast. Then Ikoyi takes a step back and looks at the bigger picture, and it's not all praise for Teo. He frames it like a fight where Shakur holds the cleaner keys, even if Teo still brings the danger.
Can you hurt him clean? He hasn't been a killer, as much of a killer at 140, and after Kambosos, he hasn't been the same in my opinion, but he's still explosive and still dangerous in the first 7 rounds, you know what I'm saying, first 8 rounds. So I think it's a good fight. I like the fight actually because of that. Teofimo got the explosive punching power on his side and good athleticism, and Shakur has superior boxer IQ, good range, good distance. So it's great. It's good boxer versus good athlete at this point. So I like the fight. I don't say it's 50-50. I say it's 60-40 Shakur.
This angle makes the fight feel more realistic because it separates flash from control. Teo can explode, but Shakur can manage distance and pace in a way that drains confidence round by round. If the fight turns into long stretches of missing and resetting, the pressure swings towards Shakur without needing a knockdown. But the suspense is that Teo doesn't need to win every minute. He needs a few big minutes. That's why the first half of the fight matters so much, because that's where Teo's athletic burst is most dangerous. If Shakur survives that clean, the momentum can quietly shift. And once it shifts, it's hard to pull back. After that, Okoye lays out Teo's win condition in plain terms. Don't let it stay pretty. He basically hints that Shakur might have to choose between fighting back or spending the night escaping.
But I like Teofimo's chances in this fight. You know what I'm saying? If Teofimo makes this a fight and comes out early and attacks and gets right up on Shakur, right, and attacks him and makes him fight, I mean, it's gonna be one of two things. Either you're gonna see what's his name, the Jesus, or what's his name, the guy that he fought. De La Santos. You're gonna see De La Santos Part 2. And he's just gonna get on his bicycle, which we don't want to see.
This is where the storyline gets spicy, because it's about pride as much as tactics. Nobody wants to be remembered for running, especially in a fight this big. If Teo crowds the space early and keeps closing doors, Shakur's usual comfort zones shrink fast. And when your space shrinks, your options shrink with it. You either stand and trade, or you give up rounds while trying to reset. That's why a strong start matters. It forces decisions before a fighter is settled. If Shakur chooses to trade, the fight becomes electric. If he refuses, the crowd and the pressure can turn loud. Then, Okoye adds the bigger layer. This fight isn't only about winning, it's about shutting people up. He frames Teo as the kind of name that can either expose Shakur or finally silence every doubt.
Or he's gonna have to fight. And I think Teofimo is a guy that can make Shakur fight, because he can cut off the ring well enough. You know what I'm saying? I think he can stay with him well enough where he can turn this into a fight, and it'll be exciting for him if he does. I think Shakur, like a lot of fights, he needs this name in order to silence a lot of the naysayers. Because people talk a lot about Shakur, especially after the De La Santos fight. I don't think the Zabata fight took it off, even though they tried to make it seem like it should be off him at this point. I don't think that fight was the one. I think Teofimo is a name that will shut everybody up if Shakur can go dominating.
This is what makes the stakes feel heavy before the first punch even lands. Shakur doesn't just need a win, he needs a win that looks undeniable. Because in boxing, the way you win becomes the story, not just the result. If Shakur controls Teo clearly, it changes the whole public conversation overnight. But if Teo keeps it close, makes it ugly, or forces Shakur into uncomfortable moments, the noise only gets louder. That's why every round will feel judged, not just scored. One shaky moment can get replayed for weeks, and one dominant moment can flip the narrative instantly. This fight comes down to one thing: can Teofimo force Shakur into real exchanges, or does Shakur keep him chasing air for 12 rounds? Teo has the explosiveness, the confidence, and that takeover mindset that can change a fight fast, but Shakur has the control, the footwork, and the calm style that makes aggressive fighters look frustrated. If Teo starts strong and lands something clean early, the whole night can shift. But if Shakur stays sharp and makes Teo miss, you'll start seeing the pressure flip back on Teo round by round. So what do you think happens when the pressure meets the boxing IQ? Does Teo have the right style to cut the ring and turn it into a fight? Or will Shakur box his head off and make him look lost? Can Teo actually hurt Shakur enough to slow his movement down? Or does Shakur's defense and timing shut everything down? And if it goes into the late rounds, who do you trust more? Shakur's calm control or Teo's ability to find a big moment? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and tune in for more videos like this.